right. Welcome to the Gridiron. I'm trying to tone it down a little bit, like the introduction. I said, my last video. Every time I do an introduction, I'm always, especially if I get carried away and all. I'm like 3-4 minutes into a video, and I haven't even started talking about anything yet. So I'm trying to tone the video, the introduction down. So I'm going to try something new here. Right. So, basically, just coming right on and just try to get into the information as fast as possible. But if you could, share this video, that'd be freaking awesome. As always, try to subscribe in the video, in the description box below. The top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. Got 3 different membership levels. If you want to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. And just a little farther way down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The bottom one takes you to my Twitter account. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. Then the one on top of it, it takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. We have, what do we have? What do we got in there now? Boom. We have over 8,600 members in the Facebook group, right? So that's my group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. But basically here at the Gridiron, we talk about how great the Giants are and how much the Eagles and the Cowboys blow. All right, so let's get it on. I saw this article tomorrow everybody should be showing up, and then Wednesday, guys, is on, right? So the rookies and the quarterbacks have already been there, but the sexy one and Carrick and Andrew Thomas and all those guys be showing up tomorrow. So then they're gonna be button heads on Wednesday. And the new season is upon us, guys. Absolutely freaking love it. Absolutely freaking love it. But I saw this is, who is this here? Giants Wire. Talking about the training camp preview, the offensive line. And a little farther in the video here, right? We have the Giants hosted a bunch of people, and one of them just happened to be an offensive lineman. So, which was pretty cool. I'm surprised that Van Roten, I'm surprised they hadn't brought him in earlier, but well, we'll wait and see how things go. But from Giants Wire, this is, what do we got here? John Finelli. Said the Giants' offensive line was among the worst in the NFL in 2023, and General Manager Joe Schoen has gone to great lengths to fix it and point it in the right direction. With a new unit coach, Carmen Bracillo, several key players returning from injury, along with some free agent adds and hopefully some surprise contributors, the Giants' line should be better in 2024. Well, I'll tell you what, if it ain't, just close up shop and just sell the team. I mean, if we're not better, I'll tell you what, if we're worse, holy cow, Batman. And then here's a quick preview. Of course, they're talking about Andrew Thomas. And the offensive line is only as good as its blindside tackle. Well, which is true, but the way it is nowadays, it's, you got ends. They can a lot of times they can flip flop the ends. They take the best end and they put the best end on where. Well, we got our best defensive end. Let's put them on their best offensive. No, they take their best weapon, the best edge rusher, and they go, where are we going to put him? Let's put him on the weakest tackle. All right, there you go. Well, we got the advantage, right? So where are they going to put him? On it, on Evan Neal's side. So it's really, you're only as good as your blind side tackle. True, to some degree. But thankfully, we don't have to worry about that. We have one of the best blindside offense left tackles in the whole league. So, and there are few, if any, that are in Andrew Thomas's class. The big issue will be health. Thomas missed a good chunk of the first half of last season with a hamstring issue that had a rippling effect on the entire offense. leading to injuries and poor play at the quarterback and other functional problems. Let's see. Then they talk about John Michael Schmitz. Had an up-and-down rookie campaign, missing 4 games with a shoulder injury and then dealing with a rotating group of subpar guards around them. Yep. The offense was in complete disarray most of the season, and Schmitz learned some valuable lessons from the team's transgressions. This year, he plans on taking charge and playing up to a second-round draft status as a leader. Talk about Evan Neal. Oh, yeah. The former 7th overall pick in the NFL draft will get every opportunity to win and keep the right tackle job. Don't believe the chatter about the Giants moving him to guard. They have not given up on Neal yet. He is finally healthy and hopes to remain that way going forward. Well, he better. I mean, because if, and it doesn't, I mean, obviously you don't want to give up on talent. I get it, all this stuff and whatnot and everything, but, yeah, he's got somewhere along the line. He's got to show that he can stay healthy. I mean, they have not given up on it. He's finally hopes to remain that way going forward. If he falters while healthy, the Giants will have a decision to make about possibly, slipping him into guard. But until then, right? The Giants knew that they had issues at guard last year, so much so that they resorted to pulling former first-round pick Justin Pugh straight off the couch to field the team. He's gone, but Shane inked 2 solid veterans, John Runyon Jr. and Jermaine Eluemunor, to bolster the interior of the line. They should improve the pass protection and help Schmitz realize his potential. I mean, also just one of the things is just getting guys. And I know, sometimes it's a heck of a lot easier said than done. But getting 5 guys who can stay healthy, huge. I mean, because every time, if you go in there and with Schmitz, on one game, he's got 2 guard here and a guard here. Then the next game, he's got the same guard and then he's got a new guard here, right? And then the next game, this guard's still the same, but this one's totally different. It's, it is amazing though. I mean, just some team just like it absolutely freaking amazing. Some, I mean, the Giants ran a tush push last year. I think Daniel Bellinger got hurt. John Michael Schmitz on a tush push. The Eagles do 37 tush pushes a game because that's the only way they can win a football game. And everybody's hunky-dory. They tush push, right, all game long, and everybody's fine. We do a tush push. We do a quarterback sneak, and we lose 37 guys on our offense. It's simply amazing. Absolutely amazing. Some teams – just run the same 5 guys out there every game, and the Giants game to run the same 5 guys out there for 5 plays in a row. It's simply absolutely amazing. Hopefully one of these seasons, maybe the Giants will get a lot. Maybe we'll go back. Remember back in time when we had Deal and Seibert and O'Hara and Snee and McKenzie, had those 5 guys for like 2.5 years or so, like straight. Right? Every game they were in there. Man, wouldn't that be just amazing? Oh, my goodness. Let's see. The Giants knew they had issues at guard last year so much that they resorted, obviously. But they got Runyon Jr. and Eluemunor to bolster the interior of the line. They should improve the pass protection and help Schmitz realize his potential. Also signed this offseason is Aaron Stinney, Austin Schlotman, however, whatever you want to. I've heard him say. I've heard him called all 3. And undrafted free agent Jake Kubis. So they got some depth at tackle. With Thomas and Neal's health a question mark until further notice, the Giants added a few players to fortify their depth chart at tackle. The first man could be obviously Eluemunor, right? Who played tackle in Vegas last season. Other names to watch are Joshua Zudu, Yadni Kajust, of that name, Matt Nelson, Marcellus Johnson, and Joshua Miles. Then, of course, let's not forget about Carmen Basillo. He was available after the Raiders went through a coaching purge. He rejoins Brian Dable to assist in the solidification of the line. He has proven track record of success and should be a better fit than his predecessor, Bobby Johnson, who was fired. Thank God. The players also have taken to him, which will help in him communicating the game plan and directives. Now, I said, we have right now is like 16 guys on the roster for the offensive line, just from this depth chart I'm looking at here. Now they're talking. Obviously they got Evan Neal, Runyon, John Michael Schmitz, Illuminor, and Andrew Thomas. But then we have Joshua Zudu, Jake Kubis, Austin Schlotman, whichever you prefer. Once again, I've heard him called all three. Aaron Stinney, Matt Nelson, Joshua Miles, Marcus McKeithen, Jimmy Morrissey, Jalen Mayfield, Yodny Kajust. I love that name. As I said there already, and Marcellus Johnson. But then, of course, we also brought in somebody else, which I said, once we're going to bring over, we'll talk about Van Roten in a little bit here too. So there's a lot of guys now. If you figure they're going to have, out of the 53, eight offensive linemen. Quite possibly. I don't know if they'll have 9 or not. It'll be quite a bit. 8 or 9. So if they got 16, obviously you want as much, because let's not forget they drafted McKeithen, they drafted Joshua Zudo. You draft one guy in the 3rd round, the other guy in the 5th round. They drafted him for a reason. You don't want to give up on them after this will be the 3rd season. So, I said, but they brought in a ton of other guys. So, obviously, you're going to be a rocket scientist to figure out not everybody's going to want to make the team. So how many guys you're going to have on the practice squad? 3 offensive linemen maybe on the practice squad. So you figure there's quite a few guys ain't going to make the team. Right? So, the one nice thing is that they brought in a lot of, they brought in some experience, right? And some of the guys that the Giants have drafted. So it's a nice mixture in there, a really, really nice mixture in there. And of course, also a lot of the guys also have, flexibility, which is huge as well too, because in today's modern NFL, unless you're like Andrew Thomas or something like that, you need guys coming in who can play multiple positions. Obviously you don't want Andrew Thomas having to slide him into guard or anything like that. He's your tackle. But in that, you're bringing guys, especially free agents. It's absolutely huge to have guys come in, free agents that can play multiple positions for you, right? So, the offensive line, once again, you don't need to be a top 10 unit to win a Super Bowl, right? Can we get can we get up around 20? 15 to 20. Can you be functional? That's, right? And I think with the veterans that we brought in, if we can stay healthy, which is a huge thing, and with Carmen Basillo, and I'm going to, and as another interesting point I'm going to bring up with Carmen Basillo with Van Roten, okay? Just goes to show you sometimes, obviously, you can have the greatest offensive line coach in the world. If you put me out there, the Giants are screwed. So you got to have talent. Duh, right? But coaching can be huge, absolutely huge. And once again, when we get to Van Roten, I'm going to give you some numbers that just goes to show you what possibly Priscilla can wind up bringing, right, to the table. So, I think, if if we come anywhere near 85 sacks once again, holy cow. I mean, we would have to be once again pretty much decimated by injuries. I just think between the injuries we had last year, and I just think Bobby Johnson is not a very good coach. And I think between the combination of the two, it was just absolute mess. Absolute mess. But hopefully this year with Priscilla there, we'll be okay. So, once again, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting to see. I mean, this is a huge year for Neal because let's not forget, right? The Giants can pick up their 5th-year option on Neal. The thing is he had to do that before the 4th season starts, I believe. Right? So this will be his 3rd season. Can he be productive? Can he stay healthy? Right? If he's, it's going to be interesting. Right? If he can stay healthy, but he's not productive, do they slide him into guard? If they slide him into guard, right? Are they going to want to pick up his 5th-year option? It can be very, very interesting. So that's once again, huge year for Daniel Jones, huge year for Evan Neal. Very, very big year. So, but I certainly think that the Giants are, trending up on the offensive line without any doubt. Then we got Darren Waller, my man, ex-Giant tight end Darren Waller believes Daniel Jones can return to his 2022 form. Waller says that's definitely still in him. This is who is this from NFL.com. Bobby Kaunak looks like. Not sure who that is, but says he might have retired this offseason, but Darren Waller is still rooting hard for one of his old New York teammates. The former Giants tight end has every faith in Daniel Jones to bounce back from a torn ACL last season, even after playing just 5 games with the often maligned quarterback in 2023. I'm just excited for him to get another opportunity, Waller said recently on Sirius XM. I feel like he gets a bad rep. 2022, man, he played such good football. Last year was his first opportunity to get out there and play on the new bag that he got. I guess that means his new contract, I guess. It was tough for us as an offense to protect him, and you can't put any quarterback back there and not have any protection and expect them to really, truly thrive in the pocket. He said, I'm hoping they can get those things shored up and allow him to have an opportunity to show that he is a talented dude. He's very athletic, which he is, right? He's not like Lamar Jackson athletic, but he is athletic. Get his opportunity to play the football that he was playing in 2022. I feel like that's definitely still in him. Jones entered last season as at the peak of his Big Blue experience thus far. He was fresh off the surprise playoff run to the NFC divisional round, and he signed a 4-year, $160 million extension following a campaign in which he accounted for 3,913 yards, 3,205 throwing, and 708 yards rushing. Threw for 15 touchdowns, ran for 7, and led the league with a 1.1 interception percentage. Not bad. We have a phenomenal offensive line, and our weapons in 2022. Our weapons, our wide receivers. I mean, you had Slayton and Hodgins. Bellinger. Wandell was hurt. Shepard's always hurt. But he did have Saquon in the backfield, which was huge. Jones did a little to alleviate them due to circumstances both of his own making and outside of his control. In 6 starts during the 2023 campaign, the quarterback went 1-5, threw for just 909 yards in 6 games with 2 touchdowns. He tossed 6 interceptions, which eclipsed his 5 in 16 contests the year prior, thanks to his career worst 3.8 interception percentage. He and Waller connected for 23 receptions and 239 yards without a score. As Jones's ex-tight end alluded to, though, New York's offensive line made anything but easy to perform. And you even heard, on Hard Knocks, right? You thought you heard Shane talking about, you said, even Patrick, I don't know, Patrick Mahomes behind that offensive line couldn't do anything. And he takes Joe. I mean, you put Patrick Mahomes back there, let him get sacked 85 times. First of all, see if Patrick Mahomes could survive the season, okay? And second of all, see how many games Patrick Mahomes will win you some games, absolutely. But would Patrick Mahomes take it to a Super Bowl, win your Super Bowl while he's getting sacked 85? Well, I mean, and that would be 85 times during the regular season. Then you got to play. I mean, I don't know if you make a wild card game, then you get the divisional round, then you get the championship game, and then you get the Super Bowl. So we got 17, 34, 68. So he got sacked 5 times a game. So we played another 4 playoff games. He'd be getting sacked another 20 times, probably at least, because when you get to the playoffs, what do? You're playing better teams. You're not playing Chuck E. Cheese Tech. You're not playing Ronald McDonald University. When you get, you're putting the big boy pants on when you get to the playoffs. You're playing the best of the best when you're in the playoffs. So that meant if we played additional 4 playoff games, whoever the quarterback would have been sacked probably an additional 20 times at least. So that meant that whoever our quarterback or quarterbacks would have been last season, if we went to the Super Bowl, we would have been sacked at least 105 times. I mean, yeah, good luck trying to win a Super Bowl like that, right? Let's see. Daniel Jones was sacked 30 times, an average of 5 per game. That put him on pace to take 85 sacks by the season's end. And that's including when he departed 1 play into the second quarter during his final appearance. Yeah. Jones missed weeks 6 to 8 with a neck injury before returning in week 9, only to suffer the ACL tear that ended any chance for him to turn the season around. Now he enters year 2 of his current contract, needing to reverse his fortunes. He should have all the training camp available to him to prepare to do so after a rehab process he said, pretty smooth. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport also reported that the 27-year-old is expected to avoid the physically. Yeah, well, we know that. He's won't be on the PUP list. All right, let us see this here. Giants country. This is from Nick Faria, Faria. Says the New York Giants secondary worst in the NFC East. Well, one thing for sure is that they certainly, we do have, we have some, if you look at Flott, especially if you're looking at, we might quite possibly be putting Phillips out there and Newman out there. If you're looking at the 3 cornerbacks and the 2 safety positions, right? If you're not throwing Azeez Ojulari out there, right? We might be starting two rookies. Right. And not only that, if you got Flott out there, he's a 3rd-year guy, right? Then of course you got Banks out there, he's a 2nd-year guy. So we got a 2nd-year guy, a 3rd-year guy, quite possibly 2 rookies. We certainly quite possibly might have the least experienced secondary among all the 4 teams. Says the Giants poured resources to address their defensive line during the latest offseason. Having a Pro Bowl caliber player join someone like Kayvon Thibodeau is no small feat. New York defensive struggles aren't magically fixed with Brian Burns, though. As the Giants' pass rush improves, their secondary remains a question, which is true. Got some unproven guys, right? The free agent departure of safety Xavier McKinney will do that for a team. The loss of McKinney, coupled with the draft selections of 2 young players in Tyler Nubin and Andrew Phillips, means that the secondary in New York has become one of the youngest in the league. And yes, that includes 2023 first-round pick Deonte Banks. Early projections show Banks and safety Jason Pinnock remain New York's better players for the 2024 season in the secondary. Despite the lingering questions they have on their own, there is some upside along with this group. Then it comes down to coaching. Shane Bowen helped build a very dynamic Tennessee Titan defense from 2021 to 2023. The problem, his secondaries were among the worst in the NFL during that span. Now, interesting, if they're talking about his secondaries were among the worst. Now, was that totally his defensive philosophies? Was that his coaching, or was that quite possibly the talent that he had in the secondary? Right, because he's better known, obviously, for his getting after the passer with four guys, maybe sending a blitzer every now and then, but also he's very good at stopping the run. So Bowen's defenses haven't had a top 10 finish in each of his 3 seasons as a play caller. His secondaries also haven't finished higher than 18th in the league. Big Blue knows that in a crowded division with top receivers, they need a quality secondary to be able to trust. With so many younger players on each position, the work will be cut out for Bowen and the rest of the Giants coaching staff. So, I mean, but, I believe in Jerome Anderson, without question. I think he's going to do as best a job as he possibly can. The thing is, I said, the Giants got some unproven guy. Cordell Flott has not nailed down, a starting job. We're still kind of, I said we got Andrew Phillips, right? And I said Tyler Nubin. So we got, if you look between Banks, Nubin, and Phillips, 3 of the 5 guys that might be starting back there, they got 1 year of experience. So there's a lot of inexperience for the Giants. It's just everything you hear, you figure, Nubin seems like he's going to be a very good player. It just, you might get some learning, you might have to get a little learning curve going on there, especially if you put him in, for the first season, right? You might have to deal with some learning mistakes. We'll have to wait and see what Andrew Phillips can do. And I said, we'll still have to wait and see what about Cordell Flott. Not sure. But, this is going to be obviously a big year for the secondary. When the season's over with, this is one of those things, once again, after the season's over with, the smoke clears, the dust settles, and Shane can go back and look. It's like, we still need another cornerback, right? I don't think I'll have to, or maybe, I think if we keep Pinnock and Nubin, I think we're okay in as far as the safeties. If you want to add some depth, you can certainly grab a safety. I mean, we got Javeri Zone. I think it was a 7th round pick, but we drafted Javarius Owens. We have a couple other guys as well too. But if you want to add some depth at safety, that's something you can do either in free agency next season. Bring in a cheap veteran, right? Or you can draft somebody in one of the later rounds as far as the safety. But you want to step back after the season's over when it's like, okay, we got Banks, right? The thing is, can we thrive and survive with Flott or Phillips or whatever? Or do we need another cornerback? And you can get somebody in the 1st or 2nd round next season as far as a cornerback, right? I would like to see, I would definitely like to see the Giants draft a defensive tackle to put next to Dexter Lawrence next season, early in the draft. Not a 5th or 6th round pick or something like that. I don't mean nothing, bad about DJ Davidson or any of those guys, not like that. But let's get a stud next to Sexy Dexy, and let's get that front 4, really, really, really doing good. But I mean, I think with the Giants. The Eagles did draft. They drafted a couple, supposedly very good guys in the defensive secondary in their draft, right? So, which is going to certainly help them. But I mean, their secondary. I mean, their defense was not very good last season at all. Very, very bad. Seems like they're pouring a lot of their, obviously. With Jalen Hurts, got a contract, right? Big contract. AJ Brown, DeVonta Smith, they all got paid. Saquon Barkley, he kind so they're dishing out some money. Lane Johnson, he's getting paid pretty good. So some of the guys on that side, on the offensive side of the ball, got pretty good by the Eagles. So, but their defense was not very good at all last season. So let's hope it stays that way. But I mean, the Giants, they're talking about maybe the Giants being the worst. It's really hard to argue because we don't have a lot of experience back there. As far as what we're possibly hoping are the starters, right? So I can certainly see. And I said quite possibly there's a good chance that maybe Phillips and Newman might be starting. So we got a lot of inexperience back there. So all right, then I saw. Let's see here. So the Giants brought in 6 guys, right? One of them's Van Roten, but they brought in Giants host 5 players for the pre-training camp workout. All right, so they got, let's see, Jakeem Grant, TJ Luther, Byron Pringle, Lincoln Victor, and Garantano, I'm going to say. I think. Pringle, wide receivers. They brought in 4 wide receivers and a quarterback. And then a guard. Okay, I'm going to go over Van Roten in a second here. So they brought in 4 wide receivers. Let's say all. All right, let's see here. Wide receiver. 1, 2, 3. We got 13 wide receivers. 13. And they brought another. They just brought them in. It doesn't mean they're signing any of them or nothing like that. But we got 13 wide receivers. It's like. Okay. Pringle is 30. Is a 5-year veteran who has played for the Kansas City Chiefs, the Washington Commanders, and the Chicago Bears. 6'1", 203-pound Pringle has 91 career receptions for 1,191 yards, 13.1 yards per catch, and 9 touchdowns. All right. Jakeem Grant, was a 6th-round pick by the Miami Dolphins in 2016. So, once again, certainly has some experience. He has 100 receptions in 81 regular season games for the Dolphins and the Bears. Grant, though, has not played since 2021. He missed the 2022 season with a torn Achilles and missed the 2023 season with a patella tendon tear. Let's see. TJ Luther is 6'1", 180 pounds, spent part of last season on the New England Patriots practice squad. Then we have Lincoln Victor, 5'9", 177 pounds, is an undrafted free agent. He signed with the Denver Broncos in May, but was released after only 3 days. So, I don't want to say we're scraping the bottom of the barrel. Maybe one of these guys can show something, but I wouldn't get excited about any of these guys. But hey, you never know. All it takes is one guy, right? Then we got Garantano. I'm going to say, if I screwed that name up, I am a moron, so please forgive me. Jarrett Garantano. He's still only 26. Okay, he's the quarterback. Is Lodi, New Jersey native. He went undrafted in 2022 after playing for Tennessee and Washington State. He spent parts of 2022 on the practice squads of the Arizona Cardinals and the Denver Broncos. This spring, Garantano played for the Houston Roughnecks in the United Football League. The workout may have been heavy on wide receivers because the Giants placed Chase Cota on the injury reserve after spring workouts with a broken collarbone. Yeah, but we got 13 wide receivers. We put one guy on the injury reserve. So I guess we had 14. We put one on the injury reserves. Now we're at 13 wide receivers. So let's bring another 4 in. And I said, we got 13. I talked about this the other night. If we're going to maybe keep 7 of them on the 53, that would be that leaves 6 guys that aren't going to make the 53. And out of the 6 guys, I'm going to say, maybe 2 might make the practice squad. if he can get him through waivers and put him on the practice squad. So that would leave you. I mean, there's like 4 guys that aren't going to make the team. I mean, we got some talent there. I mean, let's not forget. I mean, we brought Hodgins back. I mean, you figure Slayton, Wando Robinson, Malik Neighbors, and Jalen Hyatt. Those 4 guys, right? We brought Hodgins back. We brought in McKenzie, who might be a returner. We got Allen Robinson. Don't forget about Bryce Ford Wheaton. Yeah. So I'm not sure we're bringing these other guys in at, but once again, it doesn't hurt. Two giant, hey, what's up, buddy? What's going on, pal? 2 giant goofballs. So I don't know. Once again, it doesn't hurt to bring one of these guys in. Absolutely not. But I mean, I wouldn't get too excited about any of these guys. I said we got a lot of wide receivers. Let's see. Because you got Slayton, Robinson, Malik Neighbors. And I said McKenzie, right? If he makes it, I'm sure he might contribute. Maybe could contribute as wide receivers, but I think he might be brought in more as a returner. Let's not forget about Gunnar Olszewski, our punt returner, right? Obviously Jalen Hyatt, Isaiah Hodgins, Allen Robinson, Miles Boykin. Don't forget about Bryce Ford Wheaton, Ayer Asante, Dennis Houston, and Johnny Giles. So we got a lot of wide receivers. But what the interesting thing is, the Giants brought in Greg Van Roten. Now, the interesting thing here, okay, is that he's been around. This dude's been around for a long. He's been around since 2012, and I had to look at. I didn't know. I had to look it up on Wikipedia. I mean, holy cow! I mean, he let's see. Van Roten was signed by the Green Bay Packers on July 25th, 2012. He played in 10 games for the Packers from 2012 to 2013. He was released by the Packers on February 11th, 2014. So he's been around since 2012. I mean, he's 34. So, I mean, if we bring him in, it's you bring him in, you buy some good, possibly quality depth. He's played a lot. He's played a little center. He played a little tackle, left tackle. I hadn't seen him playing right tackle at all, but he played a lot of left guard and a lot of right guard. He signed with the Seahawks on February 14, 2014, and was released by the team on August 27th. He played for the Toronto Argonauts. May 22nd, 2015, he signed with the Argonauts of the Canadian Football League. Then on February 27, 2017, Van Roten signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars. On May 1st, 2017, he was released. Then he played for the Carolina Panthers. On July 25th, 2017, he signed with the Panthers. He played in 10 games his first season in Carolina, primarily on special teams, and served as a backup center and guard. On January 29, 2018, Van Roten signed a 2-year contract extension with the Panthers. He became a full-time starter in 2018, started all 16 games at left guard. He was the only Panthers player to play every single offensive snap. Okay. 2019, Van Roten started first 11 games at left guard before suffering a dislocated toe. Ooh, wow. In week 12, he was placed on injury reserve on November 27, 2019. Then in 2020, he was with the Jets. On May 6, 2022, he was released by the Jets. I mean, he's been on a lot of freaking teams. Then on June 13, 2022, he was with the Bills before we signed a 1-year deal. Then last season, on May 19, 2023, Van Roten signed with the Las Vegas Raiders. He was named the starting right guard and started all 17 games, which I'm going to go over. But, I mean, he's played with the Packers, the Seahawks, the Argonauts, the Jaguars, the Panthers, the Jets, the Bills, the Raiders, and now the Giants are bringing him in. Not that they were signing him or nothing. But if I go over his last season, right? Oh, that's where we got it. That was with the Bills. Let's see, 2023, last season, okay, when he was with the Raiders, when he was with Carmen Brasillo. His overall offensive blocking, last season, he played 1,025 snaps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. He played in every game for the Raiders last season. I don't know if he missed any snaps. That I don't know. But 1,025 snaps he played. He graded out overall a 75.3. His pass block was a 77.4. His run blocking is a 68.5. I'm just going by PFF. That's all I'm going. I have not looked at film. I can't say I broke film down and blah, 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 blah. What we got? This visit tells me the Giants aren't happy with someone in camp or someone is injured. And, well, that's a possibility. That's a possibility. Hey, everything was smooth sailing for Theo Johnson, and all of a sudden, boom, he's on the PUP list, right? How did that happen, right? So that's a possibility. I wonder if this is a frustration move with Neal. Move Illuminor to right tackle, Van Roten to right guard. Yeah. I'll tell you, I said, last season, Van Rotten's been in the league since 1961. He's been around a long time. Last season, he was 33, and with Brasillo, he graded out a 75.3. In the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the other 7 years that PFF has grades on him for offensive blocking, he hasn't graded out in the 70s. So Brasillo got him the grade out at a 75.3. His best other one than that was a 68. That was in 2021 when he was with the Jets. He graded out quite a few times in the 60s, but the last season, and that would go for pass blocking as well. His overall and his pass blocking last season when he was 33 years old with Carmen Brasillo was his best, once again, by PFF. That's all I'm going by. I don't have time to watch film. I'm too much of an idiot to really to dig into it and all that stuff and everything. So I just go by PFF, right? But his best grades overall and pass blocking by PFF was last season when he was with Carmen Brasillo, also quite possibly with Jermaine Illuminor, right? I'm surprised they didn't try to bring him in earlier because, he's 34. He ain't going to cost you a lot of money. My goodness. Oh, yeah. 5th most sacks of any guards, 5. So not all great last year, but I will average at this point. Well, let's see. No, let's see. Oh, wait. Up. Oh. That's it. Okay, here we go. Then he got, what the heck is he? I saw something. That might have been another one. I saw another. Oh, he started all 17 games last year for the Raiders and played 1,024 snaps at right guard. He comported himself well as a starter for the Raiders, giving up 5 sacks, tied for 9th most in the NFL, but was well regarded by Pro Football Focus with a 75.3 overall grade, 77.4 in the pass protection, 68.5 in the run blocking. So, a lot of snaps. So gonna be interesting. But the thing is, like with him, if we bring him in, he's 34. It's not. He's just a hold the torch guy or he's passing the torch to somebody else until we get somebody else in there or something like that. Well, it could be, possibly, right? Could be something could be wrong with Neal. Maybe he's not. Maybe there's something wrong with him. Maybe he's not. So maybe they're going to be sliding Illuminor out there to start camp. Let's get Van Roten in here, right? So we have Illuminor, Van Roten, Michael Schmitz, right? Runyon and Thomas, right? Because, the expectations was that Neal would be ready for training camp and all that, but maybe there's something wrong. Is what you're talking about. Maybe there's something wrong. Maybe something we don't know about. And we won't know about till maybe Wednesday or something when they actually start. So that's a possibility. Yeah. But I said, it just goes to show you what Brasillo can do I mean, and the guy's not a Hall of Famer or nothing, but I mean, he got some pretty decent numbers there last year. Let me see what. Okay, PFF here. Let's go here. Last season with the Raiders. Okay, he was in. Okay, hold on. Let me get the offensive grade. Offense. Let's see. No, I don't want that. We'll go pass blocking. Here we go. All right, here we go. Pressures allowed. Now, what did he pressures allowed? He gave up 5 sacks. He had 626 pass blocking snaps last season with the Raiders under Carmen Basillo, right? He gave up 5 sacks. He gave up 3 hits and 13 hurries. So he gave up 21 pressures, right, all last season. I don't even want, let's say 21. I don't even want to go. I don't even know exactly off the top of my head. I can't remember like how many, what pressures like Justin Pugh gave up or our other guards, whatever like that. So he gave up 21 pressures last season. So he gave up a little more than 1 pressure a game. So. Let's see. Yeah, 5 sacks. Yeah, so 626 pass blocking snaps. So, what is he giving up? He's giving up 11 sacks his whole career. But I mean, last season was he played a bunch of snaps last season. But his first couple of seasons, he hardly played at all. 1, 2, 3. Only his last 6 seasons has he really played quite a bit. But once again. He's 34. He turned 34 on February 26th. So, I mean, if we want to bring him in, I'm sure it would just be a one-year deal. And we'll have to wait and see. So, but I mean, as far as I know, we brought him in. I don't know if we signed him. I don't know if we signed any of these guys that we brought in or not. But it was interesting to see. And then I saw this. I don't know. It was Giants Wire. What we got here? 37 players who were locks to make the Giants' 53-man roster. All right. Oh, okay. Well, of course, you got, number 1, Daniel Jones. Drew Lock. Yep. Devin Singletary. Tyrone Tracy Jr. Daniel Bellinger. Theo Johnson. Malik Neighbors. Oh, yeah. We'll keep him around. Darius Slayton, yeah. They're paying him. Can't cut him. Wouldn't want to cut him. Wan'Dale Robinson, absolutely. Jalen Hyatt. And we're going to the offensive line. Andrew Thomas, Illuminor, Michael Schmitz, John Runyon Jr., Evan Neal, Austin Schlotman, whichever you prefer, Dexter Lawrence. We're going to the defensive side. Nacho, Jordan Phillips, Ryder Anderson. Yeah. Okay. All right. Ryder Anderson. Kayvon Thibodeau. Brian Burns. Yeah, we might keep that guy. Bobby Okereke. Micah McFadden. Azeez Ojulari. Boogie Basham. Isaiah Simmons, oh yeah. Banks, Flott, McLeod, Andrew Phillips, Jason Pinnock, Dane Belton, Tyler Newbin, Graham Gano, the Scottish Hammer, Casey Kreider. And that would be 37, right? Yeah, that's your 37 guys. 37. What are we at here? So they seem to think here. You got Phillips, Nacho, and Lawrence. They're throwing. So they think that maybe DJ Davidson may not be. They said Ryder Anderson would be. I don't think they said Jordan Riley. Jordan Riley was a lock either. Darius Muasau, they said was not a lock. Darian Beavers, they said was not a lock. I understand that. Carter Coughlin, they brought him back. Let's see here. You know, the Dane Belton, Tyler Newman, Jason Pinnock, Banks, Phillips, Darnay Holmes. They didn't say it was a lock. And they did bring in Trey Herndon. They brought in Long Jr., David Long Jr. But they brought back Darnay Holmes. I mean, it's definitely, without question, it's got some, going to have some battles going on. A lot of it's also going to have to do with special teams, which I'm very anxious to see, especially the kicking. That's going to be very, very interesting to see how they're going to align the special, how they're going to, how the kicking team's going to attack, right, and how the receiving team's going to try to block and open up holes. That's going to be very, very interesting. But so the veterans are showing up tomorrow, and then Wednesday, it's on, and the 2024 season is upon us. So, all right, guys, it's been 50 minutes. That's a short one for me. So, 2 giant goofballs. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me. It's good talking to you. So whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.